and open the folder and navigate to wherever it opens up to. Go ahead and navigate to instructors, then my name, then intro GIS. Whoops, excuse me, just go here. And open up USA. So what you're going to see here are all of these files. You've got cities.avl, cities.dbf, cities.prj, cities.sbn. You look how many different cities you have, and then you have copies of the cities. And so now go ahead and open up, if you go down here to the Start menu and type ARC, and then Arc Catalog should be a choice. And you may have created a little pinning device down here. You may have created a pin to taskbar icon down here. Either way, wherever it is, if it's in the Start menu or if it's down here, go ahead and open Arc Catalog. And you can move that, make that to size where it's not taking up all that room. And now navigate to the same place, instructors, with my name, and then go to USA. And look at the difference in the file there. You can see look how many files are in here, looking at it through the Explorer window, through the Windows operating system. And look at how many you have here. So you only notice one thing. What is the only suffix you see there in the Arc Catalog? The only suffix. SHP. Over here you've got all sorts of things. SHP, DBF, etc., etc., SHP, SHX. So the SHX and SHP and all of that, these are proprietary terms that Esri created back about, probably close to 20 years ago. So you've got the SHP, the DBF, SHX. Anybody know what SHP stands for? Shapefile. That's what it stands for, shapefile. Esri created it. This was created to be able to view a file in the WYSIWYG, what you see is what you get, environment. So if I open up the states.shp, I can see the states of the United States. Back in the olden days, there used to be, this was all command line. You would type in the command, open. I don't even remember the commands. It's been so long. But they were a pain. You had to create the file, then build it, and then clean it, and do all these other things. And you had a black screen and the outline of whatever you had mapped in white. So it's just black with a white drawing on it. And then about 1996 or 7 maybe, Esri came up with something called ArcView, and it could export one of these files, one of those line drawings on the black background. It would export one of those and import it as a shape file, and it would bring in this thing. It would bring it into this thing called ArcView. And ArcView was pretty much just a viewer. It may have been, it was less powerful probably than Google Maps are today. It was just a way to view the files that you had created over in ArcGIS, which were primitive looking, and make them pretty. And then about the year 2000, the folks at Esri came out with this product called ArcGIS 7. No, went from 7 to 8. And it incorporated the ArcView viewing environment with the power to do the analysis that you had in ArcGIS. So that's how we ended up getting, now we're at 10.2.2. So the first generation of what you're looking at here was actually called ArcGIS 7. I mean 8. ArcGIS 7 was the last of the command line stuff. So this was the first. It didn't look that much different than what we've got now. So I'm going to place that aside. So for the shape files to work, for this whole process to work, you've got to have something called a DBF for this. To be able to connect to the table, you have to have a DBF. And DBF is the table. So I'm going to ask you to go ahead and open up ArcMap. Go ahead and click down here and open up ArcMap and navigate to the USA file. Go into folder connections S, then my name, then USA, and grab the states. And if you hold the control button down, get drainage and get cities. So get cities, drainage, and states, and click add. And then mine's kind of out of kilter here, so I'm going to click on the full extent so I can see that. Is everybody there? Anybody not there? Okay. It's just taking a long time to load, or to... Okay, let's... Okay, I'm going to show you another... I'll show you another little trick here. I'm going to remove these. You don't have to remove these. I'm just going to show you another little trick. Using ArcCatalog, so we've got the catalog over here, and we've got catalog as a separate program running. If you have catalog running, this is something that's going to come up in Chapter 4. If catalog is running, you can take files directly from catalog and drop them in here without having to go to add data. Remember I showed you 5 ways, I think, 2 ways to add data, 5 ways to zoom in. There are multiple ways to do the same thing in this program. And here's another way of adding data. I can take the states, drag it and drop it in there, take cities, drag and drop it onto that map, and drainage, take it out of catalog and drop it in there. So there's several ways you can add data. You can also add it from here, from the catalog that you have available here. Alright, so let's move this out of the way for one thing. And we're going to look at the table. So right click on cities. And this is some free data that's not as complete as I would like for it to be. It's kind of old. But go ahead and right click on cities, and then you'll see something that says Open Attribute Table. And when the attribute table opens up, you'll see you've got all of these different fields. Remember, the columns are called fields, the rows are called records. And what you have in each cell, that is an attribute value. So for this, with feature ID 0, for this record, the city name, the value for the city name, that attribute is Bellingham. You can follow all these different attributes across the board and see the different values for each record in each field. And if I click on this first one, I can move this out of the way a little bit, and you see it lights up here. So this drawing is tied to the DBF or the database field. So there's Bellingham right there. The reason these are connected is because of this thing right here, the SHX. So if you are working with shapefiles, you got to have 3 three things have to be present. You got to have the shapefile, that's the drawing. You got to have the DBF, which is the table database file, and you got to have SHX, which is an index that ties them together. When you look at the notes from Monday, the PowerPoint, in there it describes the GIS as a drawing, a table, and something that ties the two together. And it's a very basic operation for ArcGIS. This is what we have. You're going to also see some other files. When we brought that up in the Explorer window, you see all these other files: SBX, AVL, PRJ. This is a really important one. The PRJ file is extremely important. That is what tells the file where to go. SBN, SBX, all sorts of different files are in there, and they all work to help make the file work better. But if you look over here, you only see the SHP in catalog here, or if you look at the standalone operation for catalog, you only see SHP. That's because catalog makes it easier for you to find files that you need, that you're going to be working with. So if I make a copy of cities, if I right click, if I want to make a copy of cities, all I've got to do is find SHP, the cities.shp, and let's do counties because I already did one for city. I click on copy. If I want to paste that, I'll put it back in the same place. I paste it, you see counties copy.shp up there. So I copy that. I go back over. Now you can open up this the USA file, and you will see counties, all these county files, and then you'll see counties copy. If I make a copy here of the shape file, it will make a copy of all of the associated files with it. So that's why it's easier if you want to do file management with geospatial files. You want to use catalog and not the Explorer thing, because if you wanted to make a copy of it here, if I want to make a copy of drainage, it would only make a copy of the SHP. It would not make a copy of everything that goes along with it. If I work in catalog, it keeps everything. So if I want to delete counties copy here, whoops, right click, I hit delete. I'm going to say yes. I go back here, and my counties copy, all of those files that were copied with it are gone. So it's much easier to work over here and keep up with everything than it is over here. Okay, other files you're going to see, you'll see the PRJ. This is a projection file. And when we get into projections and coordinate systems, that will make more sense then, but the projection file tells ArcMap where to put that. So if I don't have a projection file associated with the shapefile, DBF, and all of that, then it's a possibility that my cities, if I don't have a PRJ file for my cities, they could end up in China somewhere. They could end up in Australia. Who knows where they are? They could be on another planet. But so if you don't have that, you could end up in the wrong place. But if you do, you'll be in much better shape. All right, another file type that you will see as you work through the text is the GDB, and that is a geodatabase. And that is about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit longer, Esri made available these geodatabase files. Probably about 2003, 2004, and it allows all different kinds of files, not just these shape files, but allows you to put imagery, TIFFs, JPEGs, text documents, tables, Excel tables, all sorts of different ways to express data besides in a geographic format can be put into a geodatabase. And later on you'll be making your own geodatabases, you'll be creating geodatabases. So if you see these kind of files show up, don't think I left something out. It's another way of organizing data. But so far what we've used is shapefiles in class. But as you start working through the text, you'll start seeing this GDB show up, and that's what that is. It's a collection of data.